Hello, and welcome to the Business and Hustle podcast, where business owners and entrepreneurs give us insight into their business model, and the marketing techniques they use. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. Jim Beard. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great, Jamar. How you doing, man?
Man, excellent. Me and Jim met at the Funnel Hacking Live 2022 event this year. Man, and that was my first one.
Mine too.
Oh, that was the first one?
Mine too. Very first one. And then right after that, I went to traffic and conversions,
Oh, okay.
which I was only separated by a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I came home, went to my nephew's second birthday, and then flew back out to San Diego.
Okay. What you think about Funnel Hacking Live?
It was amazing, man. I'll be back. That is for sure. It was just amazing to make all these Zoom calls real.
And this business talk everywhere.
Everywhere you turn. Bathroom, it doesn't matter.
Everywhere. Just business. If you didn't make no connections there, you can't make connections nowhere.
It's so true. And it's the one place where everyone gets you.
Exactly.
Like if you talk to family members and they're like, are you still doing that, like the business, the hustler thing, Jamar? Are you still doing that? How's that going?
Right.
And when they say, how's that going? There's an undertone of get a job.
Exactly.
So, but when you go to these events, everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
They just get it.
Exactly.
So it's just nice to feel like you belong, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jim, tell us about your business. Let's get on.
Yeah, sure. So I mostly make video sales letters, which is then combined with another passion of mine, which is live streaming. So I started out making a live show called the X's and O's Game Show, which was a live game show on Facebook. And it was essentially, I took the entire idea of Hollywood Squares and I threw out all the celebrities. So I took out Whoopi, I took out, all the amazing comedians, and I put in entrepreneurs and marketers that had, gained some sort of success in the field. And then there was two contestants, each of which were either in a 9-to-5 trying to become an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur and hadn't broken through yet. And then there was me in the corner. I was the host. And so that started everything for me, consistently publishing, doing what you're doing right this second.
Okay.
Publishing is what put me on the map and started out real relationships with heroes of mine, people that I thought never in a million years would they know I exist on this planet. Never. Now I have their phone numbers and like I know the names of their kids and like when their birthdays are and stuff. Like we have a real relationship. It's awesome.
Oh, that's excellent.
And it all started from consistently publishing. So live streaming is very near and dear to my heart, which is exactly what you're doing here. And then I come from a background of corporate CGI. So making 3D stuff for mainly automotive industry, being from the Detroit area, it's all cars all the time. So if you don't want to work on cars, you're in the wrong place.
Absolutely.
So I took that knowledge of making commercials with CGI assets. We worked with talent sometimes. We would do VR, AR, all sorts of stuff for the big three and also for like, Tesla, Mercedes, Rivian. We worked with most of them.
Okay.
And I felt like I was a cog in a machine. So I wanted to kind of get out of that, take that knowledge and then use it for entrepreneurs. And that's what led me into marketing. I have a passion for marketing because I wanted to see how the assets were being used.
Okay.
Like what I was creating, where's it going? And so I started doing more on the video side. And I just decided randomly one day to Dream 100 some people. And I was like, I love Akbar Sheikh. I think that he's amazing and I want to work with him. So I reached out to him and gave him a piece of value and just let it sit with no expectation of anything in return. I actually forgot about it. He, at the time, was seeking out speaking gigs with people, with different events. He wanted to speak on stages more. So what I chose to do was I made him a speaking reel from stuff I just found online on his YouTube channel, from his TEDx talk, from him coaching in groups and stuff like that. And I made him this cool little speaking reel that he could use to get more speaking gigs. And I just put it in his inbox and said, hey, I'm thankful for your movement. I believe in what you're doing. And I just wanted to say thank you. Here, use this. And I forgot about it. Just forgot about it. And I worked on it for probably about 3 days sporadically. It wasn't dedicated time because I was also doing this for another 9 people. So I was kind of bouncing around. But I was doing it on my own time, in my spare time, whatever that existed. I forgot about it. 3 months go by. 3 months. I forgot I did it. Out of mind. He messages me back out of nowhere and it's like, dude, did you make this? It's like, yeah. And I had to like scroll up to remember what the heck he was talking about.
Right.
I was like, why is he duding me? I don't know what. I don't know why I'm getting this dude right now. I'm happy for it, but I don't understand it. So I scrolled up and I was like, oh yeah, I made him that video. And he's like, can I use this? I go, yeah, use it for whatever you want. It's a gift. I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. And he's like, oh my God, that is so cool. Didn't hear back from him for another day or two. And then he just throws a video at me of him in an apple orchard giving a VSL script, like speaking a VSL script in the middle of an apple orchard with his kids like being crazy in the background and like tugging on his pants and everything. And it's just him being him, but also speaking of VSL. And he's like, what can you do with this? And I was like, I don't know. Give me 48 hours and I'll let you know. So 2 days roll by and I give him back a result, a VSL. It was like an hour and a half long. I scaled it back down to like 8.5 minutes. It was a lot. It's a lot of him just walking around Apple Orchard, re-saying stuff over and over again, trying to get it right. And he never made eye contact with the camera until the very, very end. So the whole thing, he's like, hey, and this is what needs to happen. And da, 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 da. And at the end, this dude kills me. He goes, takes off his sunglasses. He goes, I'm going to take off my glasses for a minute because I want to be real with you because I'm old school like that. And he actually makes eye contact. So it works. So he goes, this is the only way you can become a 7-figure entrepreneur and the only way that you can do it, blah, blah, blah. Blessings to your family. I'll see you on the other side. So it worked out because at the very end, he addressed it.
Right.
And he corrected it. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll do it the best I can. And the other thing was he was this close, almost the entire video. Hey, everybody, Akbar Sheik here. And I'm like, I can't cut in. I can't cut out. I can't. Like I have little micro movements I can make because otherwise you're like looking at his nose hairs. And I gave it back to him and didn't hear anything back. I saw he looked at it. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's just using it. I don't know. We'll find out. And so 4 days go by and he goes, dude, so cool. Really turned out awesome. I'm such a huge fan of it. I think you killed it. But he goes, I showed it to my team and then I asked them to tell me back the information I spoke. They didn't remember any of it because all they were doing was looking at all the cool graphics and crazy stuff you put on the screen. Oh, interesting. Okay. He goes, can we just do like a way scaled back version of this and just like make it so it's more on the words I'm saying? Yeah, no problem. And we had one more revision after I did this next revision. And it was just for like colors and stuff like that. But that ended up becoming his main VSL, which is still at akbarsheik.com/gift, which has now crossed over 3 million.
Oh.
And so that was like my big breakout case study. And now I do a ton of referral work for all of his private clients. And that's one of the main veins of client lead generation that I have.
VSL.
From VSLs.
Define VSL.
What's that?
Break down VSL.
Breakdown of VSL, absolutely. So a VSL is a video sales letter. So essentially old school video sales letters, when you go to a web page, it's just text, tons of text and pictures. And it's like, nowadays, we don't got any time for that. So we just watch the video. The video covers what would normally be in a like 6 to 10 scroll sales video, or sales letter, excuse me. So now it's in a video, like the way we like to consume things, like we are on right now. What a good video sales letter does is it filters. So it pushes people away that you don't want to work to, because like for your audience, show of hands, how many people love to work with their worst client ever and just want like a ton of those? You want just a full roster of awful clients? Cool. No, you don't. So we want to push them away, and we want to attract our ideal client, the people we were like, oh, I can't wait to work with them. They're the best. So easy and so casual, and I can just kill it for them, and they're going to get a massive ROI because they're this type of person. So we attract them. We instill know, like, and trust, which is necessary for a sale. And then we talk about the who, what, why, when, where, how of your program. And then the biggest thing, the most important thing it does is it talks about their pain. And we meet them in their pain. So we let them know, I understand you. I was where you are right now. Where you're sitting, I understand that role. And this is why. So if you're like me, you know what this feels like. And then the idea is to have people in the audience go, yep, that's me. And then at the end, you make a strong CTA to book a call, because generally speaking, video sales letters are for high ticket. So it's this video that acts as your best salesperson round the clock forever, that never asks for a day off, never gets sick, and always performs the sale exactly the same way that you want them to.
Wow. That's nice. So you did it for him. That wasn't the business you were in.
That wasn't a what?
That wasn't the business you were in originally before he asked for you to revise it, or that was what you were doing anyway, VSLs for different people.
Yeah, so I mean that's my business now, is what it's become, is short form content for attention, to live stream shows for engagement to warm up the lead, and then to VSL to convert and close.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's what we teach in visibility hacking now. That's what the overreaching title is visibility hacking. And that's myself and my business partner, Molly Dorst.
Okay. Visibility hacking.
Yep.
Okay.
So essentially how to go from no one knows who the heck you are, no one cares, to you're an authority and people are reaching out to you to work with you.
Okay. Is this for coaches, consultants? Who is this?
Online coaches and consultants, primarily in the info space.
Okay. So we're talking about marketing. How do you market outside of something like this, going to podcasts? What is your biggest, what's your marketing technique for something like that?
Our marketing is a combination of a lead magnet ad, Facebook ad, in tandem with our live shows and short form content. So now we just added on short form content very recently, so that's why it's not on top of mind necessarily. We're just adding that in with an expert named Lefteris Kuchinas, and he's amazing at short form. So he's come on board our team to talk about all things short form, because it's incredibly trending right now. So he's able to get the results of from 0 views to I think he's around 4,000 to 6,000 views within, I think he's at like 2.5, 3 weeks at this point, to start getting you consistent like 4,000 to 6,000 views. And he's just growing from there. Like, it's really taken off. So then that's what brings people into our world, is the ads and the short form content in our live shows. And then we warm them up on our live shows even more, because our live shows on our profile. So they keep watching for a while. Generally, people will watch our show either coming from the lead magnet, from the ad, or from short form about 3 or 4 times until they start a conversation. And the conversation generally goes for 2 or 3 touches, and then it becomes a sale. Okay. We are high ticket, so it does take a little bit of time to get there. And we actually tried a VSL for a VSL for VSLs, and it didn't perform very well, which is very interesting. So we're working on that again right now, to make our own VSL for VSLs.
All right. Question. So what kind of following does the person have to have? I mean, let's say they have to already have a a certain amount of followers, fans, or something like that before
On
it makes
average,
sense?
we like to see that they at least have like 3 to 6 thousand followers, fans, and that's collectively over the platforms.
Okay.
Our goal is to get those all to go to one home. Pick a home, whatever it may be, funnel everyone to one home. It's just easier to handle. It's easier for emails. It's easier for follow up. But generally speaking, it's about 3 to 6 thousand fans.
Okay, so I'm going to use me for an example.
Sure.
So I started doing podcasting. I actually started with ClickFunnels, joined before Unlock the Secrets, probably 4 months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And I kind of let it hang around until I figured out what I wanted to do. Then I came up with the podcasting. And I'm thinking about, I do masterminds on Tuesdays. I do like a Tuesday mastermind. So I'm trying to think how to turn that into a business. I thought about upselling to a more elite mastermind, if you will. And then from there, going to a live mastermind. So that's
In person.
in-person mastermind.
Sure.
So that's what I came up with
So you go from show to digital mastermind, and then your goal is to get to an in-person mastermind. So the digital mastermind exists right now?
Right. That's a Zoom. That's a Tuesday Zoom.
Yeah.
That's free. That's open.
And that's free. Okay.
Right.
Do you have that in a Facebook group, or is that like a email notification that goes out to join Zoom?
I have a before I started doing good, I have a trucking group, private Facebook group. So that's where it started at. So that's when after I joined ClickFunnels, I decided to kind of take it to another level. So I started doing the weekly. It was based on trucking before, and I recently turned it into more of a mastermind. So we're talking about different, outside of just trucking, different type of issues. Everybody in there is an investor, so everybody has different things they do outside of trucking. So that's where it's mainly the people are mainly coming from. And I decided, you know what, I'm considering opening it up to just different people I know outside of that group, and just build it up with just people that's in business that's actually has something going on, instead of just random people.
Okay.
Now I want to take from
What
that.
made you convert the trucking page into this and not just start a new one?
I haven't started a new one because it's a Zoom link. It's the mastermind is on Zoom.
But
So
where are you notifying people that the call is happening?
in the trucking group.
In the trucking group.
Right.
So yeah, that's my thing, is like, isn't it a little confusing that it's trucking, but it's like also a reminder for this new marketing hustle kind of mastermind?
Well, what I do a lot of consulting anyway. So it's not odd for them to see me, take it to another level, because I consult with them on some issues not outside of trucking also. Like I said, it's not trucking, as it's more of an investment trucking, as opposed to
It's like starting your own logistics company.
No, it's start using truck, buying a piece of property, buying a truck as an investment.
Buying a piece of property and buying a truck as an investment.
So basically, somebody that's in, like, we have nurses, construction people. They have bought trucks, 1 or 2 trucks, and they just use them for passive income.
What kind of trucks?
Semi trucks.
For semi trucks.
Yeah, 18-wheelers.
Okay.
So
then they're buying them and renting them out to others, or it's you owner operator kind of an arrangement?
Well, you buy the truck, you lease them on to the bigger companies like Snyder, Landstar. Those are some that you may.
So now, are you teaching others to do this as a method of income generation, or is it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So everybody in there is in a different field of business. Only thing we have in common is we would purchase trucks, and we get in there and talk about, like drivers or any issue that we're having with. So it's not like they're trying to start a trucking company. They get the truck, get a driver, and then lease the truck on to a bigger company.
Hmm.
That's how you get paid. So your
So
job
why
is to
wouldn't the
just
bigger
find
company just go directly to who you went to?
the bigger companies to increase their fleet size, they take owner operators. So a lot of the companies, it's actually some of these companies are mostly owner operators. They do have their logo is on the side of the truck, but a lot of the trucks out here are independent owners. They just use the
Interesting.
big companies to that's where they get their loads from.
Sure.
So if I have a truck, I lease it on. I get a truck, get a driver, and I lease them on to Snyder. Snyder puts all the information on the side doors and the electronics on the inside, and then their response. They book the driver loads, to drive it back and forth. Then at the end of the week, basically I get paid, and then I pay my driver. So it's not a lot for me to do. I just lease the truck onto the big company. They do all the dispatching. All I'm responsible for is keeping the driver in the truck and keeping the truck.
Hmm.
So I pretty much wait for phone calls that something is wrong. It's not a
Okay.
lot for me to do except pay the driver and fix the truck if something is wrong. So that's basically what I do. And I have
Interesting. So
yeah, and I
now
have
what are you teaching in these masterminds?
we're just talking about we originally started just talking about different issues that we may come across with truck, like best truck to buy, best way to find drivers, best companies to lease the truck on to. But it's only so much that you can talk about. Then everybody gets to talking about. I mean, sometimes things go on for some hours. People get to talking about. They may talk about real estate. They may talk about the market. It may talk about. Uh, it can get different. It can get real random after a while, and just different people talking about the different business that they do. Therefore, connected with other people in the group that's interested in that particular thing. So it's just kind of like just connecting, you know. So
Okay,
it's
so it's
all
more of a networking thing.
it's more of a networking thing.
Okay, so they're seeking customers in the group.
The information more so information.
Okay.
So it's a lot of just information sharing as opposed to back and forth.
Okay.
So
And do you have a program that you sell currently?
I do not, because it's all new. Like
Of course.
I started with the podcast. Then I really got motivated at the Funnel Hacking Live to just make sure I go hard on the
That's
podcast.
it, man. I love it.
Yeah, and then so now I'm trying to create something from the information I'm getting. So that's what came to mind. You know, it was like, you know what, take this, what I'm calling a mastermind or a networking that we do every Tuesday and open it up to outside of the group to other people who not just random people. I want people that's actually in.
Sure.
So just to come in and then it's like basically a knowledge sharing weekly.
Yeah, I mean, it could go there. The only problem I would see with it is that if if it's okay with you,
Go ahead.
uh, to give a couple suggestions,
Please do.
is that traditionally speaking, masterminds below 20K, let's say, they're all just trying to sell to each other, traditionally speaking.
Hmm.
And that will detract hiring clients because they don't want to be sold to. They want to come in and get the info. So as long as you can make it a way to where, like, in the Facebook group, like you say, listen, when you're in the Zoom calls, it is not the appropriate time to be selling. Because I guarantee, even if you don't know they're selling, they're selling.
Hmm.
In the back end, they're Facebook messaging, hey, I heard that you needed a funnel. I'm a funnel builder. I do funnels. You want to do a funnel? It's funnel time. Let's do it.
Right.
And so it's happening, whether you know it or not.
Right.
So give them an outlet. So on the Facebook group, once a week, you say, hey, this is your pitch post. On here, you can talk about what you're doing and who you serve, and you can get clients if you want to. But just make sure you know that there's not a place for that on Zoom. On Zoom is where we talk to experts on a weekly basis, and maybe you have breakout rooms. So, like, I'm sure there's particular categories that are like overreaching categories that people talk about:
Hmm.
real estate, right?
Right.
Info products, brick and mortar, and so on. There's like big overreaching topics, and maybe you pick out, like, hey, Todd kills it with real estate. So I'm going to make Todd that breakout room. You guys, if you guys are coming in and you want to know more about real estate and how to hustle in real estate, you're going to go into this breakout room with Todd for 30 minutes. And then they come back and you're still the host. You're still the guy that's leading the show. And then you have overreaching training that you're going to do for the day that goes for everybody. So you're the all-encompassing training. And then you've got your experts. So now if I come in and you're talking about how to make money with trucking, and not to say that's all you talk about, but as an example, and I'm like, dude, I want to know about real estate. And so now I got to sit through a conversation about making money with trucks, and I want to know about real estate. I want to know about that hustle. So then you go, okay, well, here's our beginning. You know, you have to have like a plan for that so that it doesn't get squirrely, right? Because those masterminds always go squirrely.
Right.
If you just let it run, it'll run forever, and they'll go 3 hours. Sometimes it's ridiculous.
Yes, I'm noticing that.
So you got to keep it rigid, flexible within the rigidity, but like a structure that they can then play within, right?
Right.
So you start it. Everybody, welcome to the Business and Hustle Mastermind. My name is Jamar, and today we're going to be talking about this overreaching topic. We're going to go into breakout sessions a little bit later with our unique experts. I'm going to introduce our experts. Our experts are Todd with real estate and John with this and blah, blah, with that, with that, with that. And, you know, we'll break you out in accordance with whatever number you put in the chat. So then you have someone in the back end that's then breaking out people by what they've chosen. And then you do a little intro training. Maybe you tell a story. But really, this is your show. The mastermind is your show. So what it sounds like is it's becoming their show. Just from what I'm hearing, it's kind of going a little wily.
Well, yeah, it can get because once it can go into different directions. So I'm wondering, should I try to narrow it down instead of letting people just go and just go where they want with the conversation? We're only talking
I think you
about.
got to have a plan. You got to say, today's topic, we're talking about this.
Okay.
So if you want that specifically talked about in real estate, you're going to go in Todd's breakout room in 20 minutes. We're going to do a little bit of training first, and then we're going to do breakout rooms, and then we're going to come back for a conclusion of the day and final comments.
All right, I'm not doing breakout rooms. It's just one Zooms.
Yeah, you got to do breakouts.
Okay. So
Otherwise, it's nuts.
Right. So I definitely need a specific expert, a specific topic for that.
I think so. And I'd love to hear from your audience. What do you guys think? Which one sounds more appealing?
Right.
I like structure. I show up for stuff that's like, we're talking about this today. So as an example, that could be a blanket topic across like real estate, like brick and mortar info, side hustles, all that kind of stuff would be, where do I get my first client? So you can talk about your story, how you got your first client, how you came into the trucking hustle and that whole thing, how you were exposed to it, and how you went from a job to a business.
Right.
Because that's something that people really get tripped up on. And if you need examples, you got the Russell books, man. All the stuff you can talk about is right in here, right in the index, baby. Right. So all of these topics have already been put out here for you. Table of contents, man. You got a year of content right there, bud.
Right. Right.
So now what do we talk about? What's the overreaching topic? Go to your owner's manual here, pick one out. Because Russell's already gone through the work of saying expert secrets, the topics we talk about are going to cover a vast and broad audience. Now you break that down because it's like, well, I don't want to know about how to get my first client in brick and mortar. That's not me. I'm a real estate guy. Right. I want to flip houses, baby. Like, come on, that's what I want to do. I want to make money on wholesaling. I want to do this kind of stuff. I want to do that. I'm not interested in opening up a brick and mortar. I'm not interested in selling an info product. But maybe down the line, after they get rolling with this, they go, info product sounds kind of cool. I'm going to show up to that breakout today. You give them menu options. But when they're in there, it's focused. They're not going in there in a real estate one talking about brick and mortar. They're not going into real estate one saying, screw all this. You guys need to go to info. None of that. So your experts need to be like, herding cats.
That's
So things get off the rails. They go, nope, nope, right back here. Okay, this is what we're talking about. This is the topic. Stay on topic. Here's the questions that we've been given. The best ones I go to, the host, you, spreads out a question to all the individual breakout rooms. So it'll say, Jamar has asked a question of, as an example, how far along are you in your business? Have you gotten your first client? Was it a paid client? Because sometimes they'll go work for free. Just an example, like a 3-question kind of thing. So in that group, in the real estate group, the person that's running that is going to then reiterate those questions to the people through the lens of real estate.
right.
So people are going to be like, oh, I tried to flip my first house. I thought, the deal slipped through. It didn't work out really well. I wholesaled this place. I made a commission on that. So then the real estate person could be like, well, where do you want to focus? It sounds like you're not narrowed down. So like, are you just kind of doing buckshot until you hit the money maker?
Right.
Because all those will make you got to hone in on one and just carry it through. And so that's kind of the coaching quality you get now that you're in that breakout room. And then when they come back out, you're talking at this level.
Right.
You're master of ceremonies. You're the guy that runs the show. So no matter what, you always get your training in.
Right.
Always. Because it's your show. So the first 20 minutes are with you. And then maybe 10 minutes of like a little break to write down some notes. And then you ask the 3 questions and they go into their breakout rooms for 20 to 30 minutes. So the whole thing's about an hour. And then afterwards, maybe you have like a 5-minute like summation or conclusion.
Okay. That's some great information. So
Those are the ones I enjoy because it feels like I got something done.
okay, let's fast forward. Now we got we got this mastermind good. We focus. It goes in one direction. We got that. Okay, what's next? Now I'm calling Jim Beard.
Now you're calling me?
Now I'm
So
calling
now,
Jim Beard. Now I need to know the next pathway. I done did what I need to do.
Sure. So if now your main vein to get people into your world is your mastermind, then that's where we want to get everyone to. That's where you're doing your selling from. So let's say you put out a product that is like how to get started in 60 days to turn your hustle into a legacy. And you have classes that are expert centric. And then there's your classes too. It's structured exactly the same way as your mastermind. So you've got your teachings every day. And then you've got, let's say you have 5 experts. You have pieces from each of them. And for them being included, you give them a cut. They don't get equity in the brand, business and hustle. They get a cut of proceeds. So whatever you think is fair. If you think that it's fair for them to split 30% and you keep 70, offer it to them. But initially, it's just exposure because you're validating them. You're saying, I chose you, me, the master of ceremonies, chose you to be the leader of real estate.
Right.
I chose you to be the leader of this. So I'm telling you that you're an expert in this.
Okay. All right.
But you're still the master of ceremony. So it's still your program. This is the Business and Hustle Academy. So this is how you take your hustle and take it to legacy within 60 days or something like that. And you just give them a framework of like, when should I set up an LLC? When should I get started? How do I know when my hustle is ready for the big time?
Right.
How do I know when a hustle is going to become my main thing? Talking about all that kind of stuff that to you is like, well, yeah, duh.
Right. Right.
Yeah, of course. Is not obvious to everybody else. There's value there.
So at what point is it VSL time? I got it together now.
So now the VSL would be either getting a ton of people into your mastermind, which I think eventually should be paid.
Right.
So first off, once you get it working and people are happy and they're like, this is cool. Oh my God, I never miss this mastermind. That's when you're like, cool, everyone that's in, you're in. Everyone else, paid.
Right.
So you do it free until you got it working well and people are super pleased, and then you make it paid and people charge a monthly fee to be in your mastermind. And then the next step up is in person or one-on-one coaching with you. Generally speaking, the higher up the ascension ladder you go, the closer they get to you physically.
Need to write that
So as
down.
far as a VSL, my VSL would be saying everyone needs to join this recurring mastermind, and here's why. And then we show a bunch of testimonials of all these people like, dude, I came in and Jamar is absolutely ridiculous. Like the stuff that he teaches is insane. And then we go in these breakout rooms and I get like all this specialized time in my area of passion. And then we come back and like he wraps it all up so perfect. And it's absolutely incredible. It has changed my business. And you get like 8 to 10 of those. Throw that in the VSL as well, because there's validation that needs to happen, authority building. And you just either run ads or organic traffic right to that. All roads go to VSL, and all VSL leads to your mastermind.
Okay. So it's really about having you need somebody with ready-made content.
Not necessarily. Like what I'm doing with you, we do that as well if needed. But generally speaking, to have that size audience we were talking about, you need to have some kind of content structure. So I guess the answer is yes-ish.
Right. Then I give that over to you, and then you make it all make sense. Okay. All right. So what's the steps for the person, the coach, the expert? What's the steps he needs to take to reach out to you and do your thing? What kind of people are you looking for? How did you approach the situation? I'm looking for this type of people. Is it a niche? How does that work?
Sure. So we're very selective of who we work with because I've done a lot of this. Plain and simple. We want to make sure we believe in what you're doing. And we want to make sure that we can absolutely murder it. Just kill it. Like we don't go for a 2x ROI. We want 10x every time. So we go for the ones that we know we can absolutely kill it for. And the ones that we've really excelled with are coaches and consultants in the online space, and in particular with info products. And those are the ones that we can absolutely murder it for. So generally speaking, those ones we go for. And if they want to reach out in any way, I have a live show every Friday called Friday Night Live, which is now on my profile. And my profile is Jim Beard. And then on Instagram, it's Jim Beard Content. Feel free to reach out to me freely. And yeah, that's really about it.
And you guys,
What's that?
I was gonna say, everybody, you'll be able to find those in the links.
Absolutely. But Jamar, man, so what do you think? You gonna step into some different mastermind, or you gonna stay the course? What are you feeling?
Oh yeah, okay. Because when I got into ClickFunnels, the first thing is you got to have a product. Got to have a product. Got to have an idea. Have to have a plan. So, like I said, I start off with the podcast, and then so I figured I'll be able to I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to move it from there.
How many episodes do you have in the bag now?
What happened was I had about 10 episodes, and then I decided to change the structure because I was just letting business owners at random, and I had a conversation with them. Then I decided to narrow it down to marketing.
Sure.
I was a part of the 2CCX program. I said, you know what? I'll speak with those people like yourself from Funnel Hacking Live and the other people in that business, and I would narrow it down to marketing. So that's what I've recently done. And so I've kind of rebooted the podcast with a marketing focus.
I like that.
Right. So kind of narrow it down, kind of like what you were saying, give it a little more structure. Do that with the mastermind also, kind of narrow it down, because marketing kind of touches most businesses out here.
It really does. Everyone needs marketing.
Right.
Everyone's got to sell themselves in some way. I don't care what you're doing.
Exactly. So
the other tip for you is a timer. You can share a timer in Zoom.
A timer.
Yep. So they know, like, all right, you got 3 minutes left. You got 2
Okay.
minutes left. So that's when you start kind of like closing down your conversations.
Right.
You see that timer, it helps to nudge you along a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, 3-hour masterminds, man. I can't do them.
I know, man. I mean, they can
I
go
can't
like
do it.
4
Hour and a half
hours.
in, I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I got life.
Right. Right. I mean, it will go for hours to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
Which I
talked
mean,
about
sometimes it warrants it. You know, sometimes if you got a really hot topic and the people are eating it up, and you're like, listen, if you guys want, I will leave it open in the breakout rooms, or we can do more Q&A on this for a little bit longer because I see that you guys really, really want this. But you have to make it special.
right.
Otherwise, it's just the expectation.
Right. Right. So
We fill the container that we're placed in.
correct. Correct. So ClickFunnels. How do you use ClickFunnels in your business?
All of our funnels go through ClickFunnels. Every single one of them so far. We've thought about going a high level, but it's just it's a little bit of a learning curve that we're just not ready for. And ClickFunnels gets the job done, plain and simple. It does a great job. It's an amazing, amazing community. You'll be hard pressed to find many people in the marketing community that don't thank Russell Brunson for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just right now it's the best place for us, and we love the community, we love the tools, and we think that it just rocks, man. So as far as outside stuff like CRMs, we not as big of a fan of their CRM, but with 2.0, it looks like it's going to increase and get better. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe
I like the 2.0. I'm really
it's
liking the
pretty
change.
slick, right?
Yeah. It's completely opposite. It was, I mean, 1.0 was kind of,
Well,
it was
1.0 was like, holy crap, funnels are a thing.
right.
And now it's like, well, yeah, funnels are a thing. Now it's easier to use and
Right.
faster.
And then there's so many other pieces to go with it, with the funnel that they have now. They have the groups. You can do courses. You can have your own private groups inside of there. So it's I'm liking what I see so far. I haven't done a lot with 1.0. I played with it for a little while, but this one looked way more clean and streamlined. So I'm kind of liking it so far.
And I'm excited to break into 2.0 and really mess with it for like a dedicated day.
Hmm.
Just take a day and tinker with it and break it and
Right.
see what I can do with it. Because everything I've been hearing has been fantastic. I've seen all of the, like the previews from people talking about, the usage of it. I've seen it used. I've actually got to tinker a little bit, but I didn't actually create anything yet. So I want
Right.
to actually create a funnel with it and see how it.
Tell me one of the success stories from somebody that you didn't think it would go that good with your program, and it just took off. Give me an example of that.
Run that, but you said tell you a success story?
A success story, something that you didn't know was going to turn out as good as it did.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Michelle Rogers,
Hmm.
huge one. Obviously there's Akbar, but that one I didn't see going to 3 million by any means. But I feel like that's kind of a given because he's like Akbar. But Michelle Rogers, she runs a program to where she helps out families with kids with special needs
Hmm.
and tries to help the family to get the child to be in a class of their own peers, to communicate, to be able to kind of be themselves and not feel like they're in special classes, ostracized, that whole thing. It's beautiful what she does. Absolutely astounding what she does. Such an amazing program. And she did this with her own daughter and got her to communicate with. She's now in a class with her peers, and she is a functioning, happy kid. So I made her a VSL, which was like waterworks. I mean, just a total sob story, just so sad of how it started and then like an overcoming, triumphant end, and like not a dry eye in the house kind of video. And she has consistently told me that she broke 6 figures a year with her business. Then she hit 250. And I'm meeting up with her soon to do another video with her because she uses in person my video that I created without the CTA at the end, just as a presentation. And she's like, every single time without fail, I can set my watch to it. Everyone's crying. Everyone in the room's crying. And she's like, that video has made my business. And it just took off. People resonate with it. You know, it's amazing how many parents are living like that, you know, to where they're living with this child who that's their child, you know, it's like it's your everything, and they just want to give everything they can to them, but they just don't know what to do. And Michelle goes, oh, well, this is what you do. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. And you know, at step 20 or whatever it may be, they have a communicating happy child who's no longer in special needs classes, is in class with their peers, and is just enjoying life. They can get jobs later. They can have relationships. They can have all those things that normal people take for granted, that is so special among the autistic community. And it's beautiful.
Amazing.
And I'm so thankful that it did take off, because she's an amazing woman.
Where was she at before you, and where was she at after you when it came to sales and
Sure. Before we started working together, which she also ran some ads with Ace Ready, which worked out very well too, because you need the two, right? You need attention and close.
Okay.
So she was running ads with him at the same time that she made the video. Well, she made the video first, then ran the ads. But before either one of those, she was negative. No cash flow. She had a client here and there, and the money would just keep running out because she was still trying to do organic. She was trying to pay a couple organic content companies to put out content for her. It wasn't getting traction at the speed she needed to support the business to keep going. So that's when she reached out in Akbar's group and ended up helping her with her VSL. And then after that, to get more attention to the VSL, she started running it.
Okay. When you say Akbar's group, what you mean?
Akbar Sheikh.
Okay. He does.
He's a big personality in the ClickFunnels space.
Okay. Okay.
He does make more, give more. He essentially teaches people how to make now. Now his process is actually how to make VSL funnels, and the whole pipeline from beginning to end of how to do that. And I'm one of those components.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man.
But I did not see that funnel taking off like it did. And it really did.
And most of your funnels end up being successful doing it your way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, since we've been more choosy with our clients, especially.
Right.
I mean, you get in with a problematic client, it doesn't matter what you make. Everything's your fault.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So we're very picky about who we work with, because we want to know that, A, we don't stop till you love it. That's our guarantee. We will not stop until you love it. To where, like, you're shaking down people in the streets being like, you need to go talk to Jim Beard. Like, if you're not that level, like, we keep going. We have to.
Okay.
So to have that guarantee as well, we need to make sure that we're very picky about who we work with.
Man, that is excellent. Well, once again, tell them where they can find you. What's your Facebook? What's your Instagram?
Sure.
Twitter?
So we're renovating visibilityhacking.com. So if you go there right now, it's an old promo that we're doing, because we're actually remaking it right now. Molly actually is remaking it right now. I think she's actually using ClickFunnels too. But to find us any old time is Jim Beard on Facebook, and on Instagram is Jim Beard Content. And I respond to messages daily, all day long, no problem. And we have a live show every Friday called Friday Night Live, which is on our profiles and also in the Visibility Hacking Facebook group, where we talk about ways to get attention onto your mission, message, and your movement in a noisy marketplace.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you for coming to the show. It's been great. It's a great interview. Very interesting stuff. You gave me some good tips, and I'm sure you've helped a lot of people. So I want to say thank you and salute to you.
I appreciate you so much, Jamar. I love the podcast, and I wish you nothing but the best, man. Always here for you.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Bye, guys.